So here's the deal. Basically, there are individuals who commit crimes against the Social Security Administration. Some of them are receiving Social Security benefits. They commit fraud. Some of them are receiving benefits on behalf of somebody that they shouldn't be receiving benefits on behalf of. Now, one thing that we're going to do with this video, what makes this video important as a learning exercise, because all these videos are a learning exercise, is that we're going to point out one thing that we learned from each one of these particular cases from November of 2024, where OIG, Office of Inspector General, prosecuted. This is where they went full Monty. It wasn't just administrative, wasn't just civil, it was full criminal prosecution against these individuals. These are our famed, super, the light is bright on people who basically have done something wrong to the SSA. Let's get into it real quick. Here we go. Let's begin. Number one. Mexican national pleads guilty to aggravated identity theft. November 4th, 2024, Tampa, Florida. The United States Attorney Roger B. Handberg announced that Antonino Resendez Badillo, 39, Mexico, today pleaded guilty to aggravated identity theft. Badillo faces a penalty of 2 years in federal prison, consecutive to any other term of imprisonment. A sentencing date has not been set. According to the plea agreement, E-Verify is a web-based system through which employers electronically confirm the employment eligibility of their employees. E-Verify is administered by the Social Security Administration and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS. The SSA and USCIS check the submitted information against the records of actual persons who are authorized to work in the United States. So basically, it's a game of trying to get work while being in the United States. E-Verify is a voluntary program for employers and requires documents such as Social Security number and photo identification of a prospective employee. Also, wow, super duper thing. Leanne, howdy. That's awesome. See you there, Leanne. Let me put a little heart on that. That's awesome. Leanne did an amazing donation there of $20, which is absolutely incredible. Please thank her, everybody. That's absolutely incredible. I've known Leanne. Leanne goes way back with this channel to before I was born. I was actually not born yet, and she was the first subscriber of like the first 100. And it was a good channel back then. There was a Prius involved. And it was in the beginning. It was like a little like, what happened? Why is it so granular? But it was a good channel. And she is, I think, our oldest subscriber that I know exists. I think the other subscribers, eaten by a goat, chased by Halloween candy. I'm not sure what happened to them, but she is one of our originals. And that is very important to me because she was with me before anybody even knew who I was, why, I existed on planet Earth. So we got to give a big hand of applause to Leanne. If you do see her on here, please just give her a big applause. So I don't know how to do an applause on here, but I'm going to, let me see if I can, I'm just going to type applause. Just give her some applause. So now, from at least 2022 through 2024, Badillo used another person's means of identification to defeat the E-Verify system and to commit the felony offense of misuse of a Social Security number and false claim of United States citizenship for employment purposes. This case was investigated by Homeland Security Investigations, the Department of Transportation, Office of Inspector General, and the Social Security Administration, Office of Inspector General for them as well. They also had the United States Border Patrol, the Department of Labor, Office of Inspector General, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. It is being prosecuted by Assistant United States Attorney Christopher F. Murray. Now, this is something that goes on all the time, especially in Florida. Florida has a lot of individuals who don't have proper standing, naturalization, that use somebody else's Social Security number, and that's how they report things, that's how they get money, that's how they're part of the system. This person, and it's unfortunate, is one of those examples of somebody who pays in but does not get the benefit of paying in. And of course, I'm sure there's some under the table stuff they did that didn't make him an angel anyways. But the point is, very important here, this individual is somebody who committed a crime, but it doesn't seem as heinous as some others. They don't mention that he was the one that, stole the Social Security number after doing something horrible to the Social Security number holder. So not the most egregious out there. Again, they're looking at 2 years. So, okay, is what it is. Next one. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Thibodeaux, man. Thibodeaux? I don't know. Any of you from Thibodeaux? I don't know. Thibodaux, man, guilty of Social Security theft. I love when they do that because, like, you know, it's going to be an area. You know, it's going to be an area that's like epic. Like when they're like, oh, it's Florida, man. You know, you're like, oh, he likes gators and bears. You know, but the Thibodeaux, man, he likes also gators and elephants. You just don't know. You don't know what Thibodeaux is. I don't know where that is. Anyway, New Orleans. Oh, it's in well, that just could be where he's prosecuted. We don't know yet. Okay. U.S. Attorney Dwayne A. Evans announced that Nathaniel Hopkins Jr. could be New Orleans. I mean, you never know. Age 48 of Thibodeaux, Louisiana. It's definitely Louisiana. It's got to be, man, let me tell you, Thibodeaux, man. I love that. They're giving it to him. Pleaded guilty before the United States District Judge Jay Zaney to theft of government funds in violation of Title 18, United States Code Section 641. All right. According to court documents, Hopkins' wife was authorized to receive Social Security Administration Title II Retirement Survivors Insurance benefits from 2003 until her death in April 2014. I already know where this one's going. From April 2014 to January of 2024, Hopkins illegally received benefits designated for his wife, totaling approximately $144,176.43 after failing to notify the SSA of his wife's death. Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. A lot of people do this. It's not good. You're gonna get caught, and then there's the problem. Do you get away with it for 1 year? You get away with it for 5. If you've done 5 years getting away with this, you've done very well. But you ain't getting away with it for 10 years. You ain't. No, you're not. You know why? Because they're gonna check on the Medicare, Medicaid to see if they're using it, and when they don't see it being used, they're gonna come knock on the door. And then they're going to send you a form, and then you're going to write down on the form, oh, yeah, she's still alive. She's doing great. Yeah, you know, just gave her some chicken noodle soup. She's awesome, right? That's why she doesn't need Medicare right now. Yeah, they're going to catch you. Marjan, there you are. Marjan did a $1.99 donation. Super appreciated. Very cool to see you. She said the military recruitments will go down with Trump. No, I don't know. I would say the military recruitments would go way up with Trump, because Trump has some issues there where they claim that he said certain things and they were terrible things, but they always go up with him. So I mean, military service tends to go up with him, whereas with Biden it was super dive. So I don't know. I mean, literally there are TikTok videos, Facebook shorts, all that stuff talking about how bad it is for recruiters with the military. I mean, they became the most creative group over the past 4 years with trying to get people to join up. And it's tough. People are awakened now. People are aware now. They don't want to go ahead and put their life on the line and potentially be direct fire, right? Because that's all they got. All they have is at the end of the day, people say, all you have is your reputation. Bullshit. All you have is your life. That's it. All you have is your health. Well, that's kind of similar, but at the end of the day, all you have is your life, right? There's no Snickers bar, guitar, promise to be with a cute couple, or not couple. I was going to say girl, but then I was like, oh, don't say girl, because then they'll be, because you didn't say guy. And then I was like, oh, I'll just make it gender neutral and say couple. And then I made it way worse. So, anyways, the point is, I made that way worse. That went from like I'll do something politically correct for once, and then made it so politically totally incorrect. My apologies. Anyways, let's go back to Louisiana and enjoy the Thibodeaux, man. Here we go. So, sentencing will occur for this gentleman on January 29th, 2025, so soon. At sentencing, Hopkins faces up to, 10 years of imprisonment, up to 3 years of supervised release, a fine of $250,000, and a mandatory $100 special assessment fee. Oh, who gives a shit? I love how they put that. They do it by like the shock value. Like if we read it in reverse, it's not that bad. We're like, all right, $100 special assessment fee. That's not too bad. He's got to get worse than that. And then they're like, fine of up to $250,000. Woo! That's nippy. That's a fine of it. That's not paying it back. That's a fine of it. Okay, that's on top of it. Okay, 3 years of supervised release. That's just making him get a job. That's what supervised release is, anyways. And then 10 years potential of imprisonment. Man, they're going after this guy. What did he do? You know what I mean? That seems like a lot. They're trying to send a message to Social Security recipients at this point. That's what's going on here. That is literally what's going on here. U.S. Attorney Evans praised the work of Social Security Administration Office of the Inspector General. The prosecution of this case is being handled by Assistant U.S. Attorney Edward J. Rivera of the Financial Crimes Unit. Excellent. Cyberducks men, all the best to you. I hope you don't get 10 years. They are leaning it into you. They are going full tilt on you. They're sending a message. Next one. New York man indicted for identity theft. Clarksburg, West Virginia. Bolarinwa Salah, 30, of Rockaway Beach, New York, has been charged with identity theft. According to the court documents, West Virginia State Police stopped a vehicle driven by Salah. Salah was found in possession of means of identification of other people in connection with a stolen identity refunds fraud scheme, often referred to as SIRF, S-I-R-F. This type of fraud involves the use of stolen personal information, including a social security number, to file a tax return claiming a fraudulent refund. You know what they do? They claim that they earned so much, they get the refund, but they never pay the taxes on it. Marjan, thank you for the additional $1.99 donation. That's awesome. Let's see what she said. She said, VA medical is so bad in Arizona for 25 years. Yeah, VA medical is free and it's not great. And I don't foresee them making it significantly better, but I do know a lot of people who work for the VA and, they're going to be pissy because I'm putting it on them a little bit, but I think we can all agree that the VA, from a medical standpoint, has a culture, if you will, of get her done next. And that culture is not innovative. It is not inventive. It is not waiting to figure out what's actually going on with the person. It's more of a punch the belt and make it tighter. That's the style. Now, I'm going to, in a very slippery rock way, fall on the rock away from talking about the VA having less than, absolutely crucial to the American people treatment capability. All right. Salah faces up to 5 years in federal prison. Oof. Damn. There you go. If convicted, a federal district court judge would determine the sentence after considering the U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. Assistant U.S. Attorney Jared Douglas. They always have assistant attorney names. Jared Douglas, assistant attorney, is prosecuting the case on behalf of the government. The case was investigated by the Internal Revenue Service Criminal Investigation, the Social Security Administration Office of the Inspector General, the West Virginia State Police, with assistance from the Ohio County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. Very good. Very good. This gentleman is apparently going to have not a fun Christmas. Excellent. That happens when you steal stuff. Although that is a little bit, they got him. They're making, look, here's the thing. They are making examples of people because I don't think they were having severe enough. You know what I mean? They're like, well, you're going to have 2 months of supervised snuggles. We're going to put something on your ankle and we're going to come back and tickle your feet later. They weren't being very aggressive. Now, these are starting to get pretty aggressive. Let's check out the next one. San Bernardino County woman and man arrested on indictment alleging 2.1 million scheme to illegally get COVID jobless benefits. Damn. Some people know how to make money. I'm not good at it, but these people are. Let's see what they did. November 5th, 2024. Riverside, California notification. 2 San Bernardino County residents were arrested today on a 9-count federal grand jury indictment alleging they fraudulently obtained more than $2.1 million in COVID-19 pandemic relief funds by submitting more than 120 fraudulent applications for unemployment insurance benefits using stolen identities, including those of California state prisoners. I mean, they were doing it. That's a lot of fraud right there. $2.1 million worth of basically California state prisoners and other people with stolen identities. That's damn. Because they had somebody in that prison collecting those people's information to submit it to somebody outside, these guys, to go ahead and make that money. I mean, you don't get the 2.1 million without submitting 120 fraudulent applications for them. That's a lot. A book will be thrown at these people. Let's see. Lisa Puente, 43 of Rialto, and Arthur Marquez, 53 of San Bernardino, were arraigned this afternoon in the United States District Court in Riverside. Both defendants are charged, this is 40-year-old and 50-year-old, with 6 counts of mail fraud and 1 count of use of unauthorized access to devices. Puente and Marquez also each are charged with 1 count of aggravated identity theft. They're going to throw the book at these people. Puente and Marquez pleaded not guilty to the charges against them, and a December 30 trial date was scheduled. So they're going to trial soon. A federal magistrate judge ordered Puente released on $20,000 bond and ordered Marquez released on $10,000 bond. That's not very high for people who have stole $2.1 million. That's not very high. According to the indictment returned on October 9th, and unsealed today from February 2020 to August 2023, Puente and Marquez filed with the California Employment Development Department, EDD, fraudulent applications for UI benefits in the names of other people. EDD administers California's unemployment benefits program. The other people included individuals who did not qualify for UI because they were incarcerated in California state prisons and people whose personal identification information was used without their permission. So what is the lesson we learned today from criminals? That is our job. We need to ask ourselves, what lesson can criminals teach us today? What is the lesson? So here's the basic thing. When you want to defraud the government and claim that people are working, you don't submit federally or state-wise prisoners as people who are working and seeking unemployment. That's just, you got to learn. You know what I mean? Reading Rainbow. Boom. That's it. That's what we learned. We learned from criminals today that if you want to go ahead and fraudulently steal this money, as they did in this particular case, you cannot submit unemployment benefit option requests for people that are in jail or prison. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. You think they would know that, but again, criminals, sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. Fraudulent applications falsely stated that they were individuals whose employment had been negatively affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, which triggered eligibility for these UI benefits under federal law. The applications also falsely stated that the named claimants resided and had worked in California. In fact, most identity theft victims of the scheme did not live in California. The applications also used false mailing addresses, bogus prior annual income information, and that the named claimants were unemployed, self-employed individuals whose employment was adversely affected by COVID-19. Everything in that paragraph makes me be like, how the hell did you distribute 2.1 million to everything that was wrong in total? Literally, they did everything wrong. The people didn't live in the state. Some of them were in prison that were in the state. They used fake addresses. They used companies that are bullshit. They couldn't even tie it to something that was relative. They were like, oh, we're in self-employed, side hustling people that are also in prison. That they did it. Let me tell you something. We are going to find better criminals than this. We are going to find them, and we are going to learn something better from them, because we can't learn from these people. We cannot learn from these people when it comes to this level of doing a crappy job committing crimes. As a result of the bogus UI applications, the Puente and Marquez filed EDD authorized Bank of America to issue debit cards in the names of dozens of victims and straw claimants. Once in possession of the debit cards, the defendants withdrew the UI benefits loaded onto the debit cards by making cash withdrawals at ATMs and bank branches, by using the debit cards to buy items sold at businesses. So they knew it was so shitty. They knew that those applications were so wrong that they gave them the money just to catch them. You know you're in trouble when you're doing that good. That's like you go into a bar and you're sitting next to somebody. Again, I'm gonna do from my perspective. You know, if I say you see a pretty girl, you just imagine it's a pretty guy or a pretty, alternative option, and then we'll go. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep it neutral in a respective way. Anyway, so I'm at the bar. There's a hot chick over there. I'm like, all right, here we go. So bottom line is I'm looking at this whole scenario. I'm like, how is this going to work out? If I go up to her and I start talking to her and she's a 10 out of 10 and I'm doing pretty well, that's the exact same thing that happened to these criminals. They tried and they literally got exactly what they thought what they were going to get. But that's because they knew that they were doing great, but they weren't doing great. There was a problem there. So basically, the hot chick on the corner of the bar that I slid into the chair next to and got her a drink and started to talk to her and explain why things are important in the music industry, but nobody cares. That individual probably would be an FBI agent, probably, and a 007 type double agent. Either way, I would end up in Mexico or Scotland, just tied to a chair. That's what would happen. There's no particular way it would happen, but that's what would happen. All right, next thing. In total, Puente Marquez causing at least 124 fraudulent applications for UI benefits to be filed, causing losses to EDD in the United States Treasury of approximately $2,136,768. That's damn. It's a lot of money. An indictment contains allegations that the defendant had committed the crime. Every defendant is presumed to be innocent until and unless proven guilty in court. If convicted, the defendants would face a statutory maximum sentence of, here you go, 20 years in federal prison for each Whoa, buddy. Hold on. Let me read this. If convicted, the defendants would face a statutory maximum sentence of 20 years in federal prison for each mail fraud count, up to 10 years in federal prison for the unauthorized access device count, and a mandatory 2-year consecutive prison sentence for the aggravated identity theft count. Look, can we just think for a moment, if you are able to properly fraud, as they did in this case, $2.1 million, you don't want to stay in the country. You want to get out of the country. You might have to move to Afghanistan, but you got to get out of it. We're learning things today. We are having our teachers, criminals that are going to prison, but they are teaching us today valuable lessons. All right, next thing. The United States Department of Labor, Office of Inspector General, the California Employment Development Department Investigation Division, a bunch of correctional people and officers and inspectors and people that look at stuff, very, very detail-oriented people. They're like coats that, they go like this and they got the big spyglass. All those people were part of it. Lots of people. Assistant United States Attorney Mitchell M. Sullivan of the Riverside Branch office is prosecuting this case. Now, with that said, they used a fraud enforcement task force to marshal the resources of the Department of Justice in partnership with agencies across the government to enhance efforts to combat and prevent pandemic-related fraud. Congratulations to them. I'm so proud of you, United States government. You're getting there. You just keep going in the direction that you think you're doing a good job in, because nobody's going to tell you otherwise, because nobody knows, because you won't tell them. All right, next one. Let's go up to the next one. We're coming down to the finals here. Aetna man who used deceased brother's identity for decades ordered to repay $175,757. All right, here we go. November 7th, 2024, Bangor, Maine. Okay, an Aetna man was sentenced today in U.S. District Court in Bangor for identity theft, passport fraud, Social Security fraud, and mail fraud. So, I mean, he went deep. He assumed the role. Okay, we're talking about, the lotions up here, the person's down there, skin. That's the level of that was a completely inappropriate joke. I hope you laughed at it. Napoleon Gonzalez, 87, had been found guilty of 6 federal charges. I'm still laughing about that joke. On August 18th, 2023, following a 2-day trial in U.S. District Court in Bangor. That was a fast one. U.S. District Court John A. Woodcock Jr. ordered Gonzalez to pay $175,757 in restitution to the Social Security Administration, and citing Gonzalez's age and health, sentenced him to 5 months probation. They want him to pay that back. They're not putting him in jail. They're like, you get back out there, you make that money. According to court records, beginning in the mid-1960s, Gonzalez took on the identity of his brother, Guillermo, who had died as an infant in 1939. And in 1981, Gonzalez applied for a Social Security number in his deceased brother's name and filed applications for Social Security retirement benefits in his own name in 1999 and his brother's name in 2001. Double dipping. Very smart. We're learning. We are learning here, okay? This is important. We are learning the quality of fraud that can occur, okay? Over the years, Napoleon Gonzalez obtained multiple passports bearing Guillermo Gonzalez's name. Most recently, October 2017, a passport he used to travel to Canada in July of 2018. See? You get out of the country. You fraud that bad, you leave. That's it, okay? Which makes me wonder why a lot of these Hollywood celebrities all of a sudden are leaving. They might be under investigation. I'm just saying, okay. Okay, anyway, Gonzalez collected retirement benefits under both identities until March of 2020. So he didn't stay in Canada. That's the problem. When investigators requested the suspension of benefits being paid to Guillermo Gonzalez pending investigation, Gonzalez mailed a letter to the Social Security Administration. Oh, here we go. He's going to fix it with the letter. Here we go. Gonzalez mailed a letter to the Social Security Administration signing the name of Guillermo Gonzalez and the Social Security number assigned to that identity, asking for an explanation for the suspension. In the letter, he requested a prompt reply, claiming that due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, he was locked in his apartment, unable to drive, and dependent on neighbors to obtain food and other items. Gonzalez also obtained Maine state identification cards under both his own identity and his brother's. In January 2020, the Maine Bureau of Motor Vehicles uncovered the decades-long use and alerted federal authorities. So here's the thing. If you're going to commit crime, the lesson you can learn from this is that you get out of the country, and also you don't send the SSA a letter saying you can't meet with them because you just can't leave a room. That's sketchy. If reading that, would be a little bit worried. I mean, he could have gotten, look, let's be fair. He could have gotten a Hollywood level, face redesign person to make him look like whatever images were on those licenses. They can do it. They can do it. He could have gone that route. He didn't go that route. Now, those SSA employees would have been shocked had somebody walked in and actually looked completely different than he did. Which, to be honest, if the story had gone that way, I would have loved it more. But again, not everybody's into movies like me. Let's keep rolling. Quote, the jury conviction and this sentence holds Napoleon Gonzalez accountable for his intolerable crimes. Intolerable. Using a social security number not assigned to him, Gonzalez furnished false information and concealed information to fraudulently obtain social security benefits, said Hannibal Mike Ware, acting inspector general for the Social Security Administration. My office will continue to investigate those who defraud the SSA benefit programs and compromise the integrity of social security numbers for their selfish gain. I thank the U.S. Attorney's Office and Special Assistant U.S. Attorney Gene Semivan for their efforts in prosecuting this case. Again, Special Assistant U.S. Attorney, they always have names that are just right in line. Gene Semivan. Very good. The Social Security Administration Office of Inspector General, the U.S. Department of State, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of diplomats, inspectors, bureaus, they had something to do with this claim. Now, we are coming to the end here. Okay? Here we go. We got three left. They're important. Here we go. Paroled felon sentenced to 6 years for fraudulent use of social security number and theft of benefits. November 7th, 2024. Here we go. Tampa. They take us back to Tampa because, honestly, some of the best criminals are in Tampa. I don't know what to tell you guys. We make some really good foods. We make some really good drinks. We make some really cool, nighttime events. But when it comes to criminals, we make the best. Very nice. Very nice. Tampa, Florida, U.S. District Judge William F. Jung has sentenced Kellis Dion Jackson, 63, Pinellas Park, a.k.a. Chandler Dante Alexander, to 6. I like his second name better. I like the also known as Chandler Dante Alexander. That's better than Kellis Dion Jackson. It depends on what movie you're in. All right, to 6 years in federal prison for making a false statement to a federal agency, theft of government property, and fraudulent use of a social security number. As a part of this sentence, the court also ordered Jackson to pay restitution in the amount of $46,695. A federal jury found Jackson guilty on August 13th, 2024. Now, according to evidence presented at trial, Jackson stole supplemental security income disability benefits from the Social Security Administration while on federal supervision for prior federal offenses. Prior to applying for SSI, Jackson obtained a social security number under the fictional identity of Chandler Dante Alexander by falsely reporting that he had never had a social security number and providing false information regarding his birth date and parents. Jackson used the fraudulently obtained social security to get a commercial driver's license, work, file tax returns, got married, and open bank accounts. The one that blows my mind is that he got all this fake stuff going on. Got a commercial driver's license. Yeah, okay, fine. He's driving a truck. He was able to work and earn money. Yeah, okay, fine. He filed taxes under it. All right. He's trying to upgrade that SSI to SSDI benefits. That's what he's doing here. He's trying to make it happen. But not only that, he got married. I bet she was pissed off, or she knew. You don't know. Jackson then applied for SSI and supplemental nutrition assistance benefits using his birth name and valid social security number. Jackson made false statements on the SSI application and related documents, including falsely stating that he was not married. That's good. She got him. Every time. Take a man's SSI. I'm telling you, it's not good. It's not good out there, guys. You gotta You got to make sure she doesn't try to take your SSI, which is ironic too. I have cases where the spouse, sometimes it's the guy, actually it's more often the guy who will report the female because they're jealous or angry or whatever, and then they'll go through this whole thing with OIG about potentially losing their benefits. So this is humanistic. This is reality here. Jackson's SSI application would not have been approved had he reported his marriage and work activity under the fraudulently obtained Social Security number. That is wow. That is just mind friggin'. Wow. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay, so let's keep rolling through this. This case was investigated by the Social Security Administration, Office of Inspector General, and a bunch of other places. Very cool. Very good. Now, let's go to the next one. We're coming down. There's only two more. A Troy woman sentenced ordered to repay $82,940 after years-long fraud to obtain benefits. Now, Bangor, Maine. Going back to Maine. Bangor, Maine. Actually, the reality is Maine used to be a really sleepy state. It just didn't have a lot going on. Then it became the largest state for illegal drugs to actually enter the country. I know it sounds insane to say that. I know it sounds ridiculous to say that, but it became basically the drug, manufacturing, production, holding, whatever you want to call it, warehousey place in America. Sleepy little Maine. Now, U.S. District Judge Stacey D. Neumann sentenced Christy Mitchell, 49, to 3 years of probation, including 5 months of home detention. She was also ordered to pay $82,940 in restitution. Mitchell pleaded guilty on April 26, 2024. According to the court records from about October 2013 to February 2020, Mitchell lied to the Social Security Administration about her husband's presence in her household and his income to fraudulently appear eligible for supplemental security income payments. That, what's ironic about this? One day, they will get rid of the marriage penalty rule, and she has to pay $82,940 in restitution because of that rule. She just wanted her hubby to be around, except her hubby, basically, she apparently made too much money or whatever it was. There was some restriction there, but he was not allowed to be in that house. And bottom line is, probably, you know what it is? They probably had one live in one place, her live in another place. So we're trying to not get hit with the reduction that happens when two SSI people are married. Damn, again, that rule will probably be repealed or ended at some point. That'll be really interesting. Mitchell also concealed her husband's presence and income from the Maine Department of Health and Human Services from about October 2013 to December 2019, during which time she received Maine Care Benefits and Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP benefits. In multiple benefit eligibility reviews, Mitchell falsely represented the SSA and MEDHHS, that's basically the extra benefits through Maine, that she and her husband lived separately. She failed to disclose her husband's presence and income despite knowing that she was required to, and that it would affect her eligibility to receive benefits. Damn, that rule is probably not even going to survive. That rule is probably going to be ended, and she's going to get hit with an $82,940 restitution order to pay that. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Was the love worth it? Was his snuggles worth it? That's the question. But again, that rule's it's not going to be around forever. Former Bosnian combatants sentenced for passport fraud. All right, classic passport fraud. Here we go. All right, so let's see. A Winthrop, Mass man was sentenced yesterday in federal court in Boston for fraudulently obtaining a U.S. passport and then using it to enter the United States from Istanbul, Turkey in 2021. Azem Giko Zebik. I try to do it as they actually Azem Gigo, Gigo. You let me know. Zebik. I'm not sure. It's something like that. 52 was sentenced by U.S. District Judge Denise J. Casper to 18 months of probation, 100 hours of community service, and a $2,000 fine. That's not much. That's 18 months of probation, 100 hours of community service, $2,000 fine. It's nothing. In addition to Zebik's U.S. passport, will be surrendered to the government in June 2023. Zebik pleaded guilty to one count of use of a fraudulently obtained passport. Zebik was admitted to the United States from Croatia in 1997 after falsely claiming that he had been the subject of persecution by Serb forces during the Bosnian War. Zebik falsely claimed, among other things, that Serb forces had captured, interrogated, beaten him, and forced him to pull wounded soldiers from the front lines. Further, once in the United States, Zebik continued to make false statements about his past, including that he had never assisted anyone else out of the country illegally. However, Zebik had, in fact, assisted another alleged Bosnian combatant, Kemal, no idea how to pronounce that, entered the United States unlawfully by falsely claiming that he was the half-brother of that person we just talked about. That person was then convicted in October of 2024 by a federal jury in Boston of 25-year scheme to conceal his persecution of Serb prisoners as a notorious Celibici prison camp and related crimes. Zebek testified at that individual's trial. All right, so basically, you know what's interesting about this is that this is a person who very clearly there's going to be a lot of this going on, because remember when Trump gets in, a lot of people that claimed that they were, basically abused by other countries or, traded or transferred or this or that, but had, PTSD causing situations occur to them and they didn't actually occur. There's going to be a lot of this suit with all those immigrants that have recently come into the country and sought basically SSI benefits in the form of a refugee asylum seeker entrant type of deal. So this is actually very telling about the future of how the government's going to be going after these individuals going forward. Acting United States Attorney Joshua S. Levy, Michael J. Kroll, Special Agent, okay, basically it's just a giant list of anybody and everybody that was part of this thing to discover it. But the bottom line is, this case teaches us that I think a lot of individuals who came into this country illegally and claimed that they were abused or trafficked and stuff like that, they're potentially, if they catch them that they were wrong, going to file these things against them. But at the same time, $2,000 fine, 100 hours of community service, 18 months probation, meh, not a big deal. Not a big deal. All right, we have gone through the November, beginning of the month to about mid-month, favorite wonderful criminals of the Social Security Administration that have caused something, rather that have interacted with the Social Security Administration. I feel like you now have a pretty good understanding of a lot of the crimes that are being committed. We did learn something from each of these. Please remember to push the like button. Please remember to subscribe and also become a member if you like. Sorry, my voice went a little, I don't know what that was, British, something else? I'm not sure. With that said, please also remember to go to Google, type in Disability Resolution Law Firm or Disability Resolution Florida. Throw those reviews up there. I love seeing them. I go live on Mondays and Thursdays to answer questions for free. You get to go ahead and call me for a half an hour, use a fake name, have your legal questions ready, no story mode. With that said, I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. And also, if you need a private session to go over a legal detail with me, some sort of situation, mini contract is below. I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful night, and we'll go from there. A super thank you to the members who have been a part of this channel. Anna, I see you there. Old School. I see Leanne. I see Puerto Rican Mike. I see a couple other people. Where is wait, I'm looking for Diane. I'm looking for her princess thing. I'm not seeing it. Okay, Rude Rabbit. There he is. Anyways, I will catch you guys a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we will go from there. Thank you so much. All right, have fun, everybody. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.